Hello. Just waiting for a few more people to join in. I'm going to give about 2 minutes today because we are at a different duration today. Instead of an hour, I'll be going for 30 minutes. So I'm not going to wait too long like I do normally, 5 minutes. I'm going to give everyone 2 minutes to get in here, and then I'm going to get started. Tonight's topic, we are talking about how to go about marketing for private pay for both contracts as well as clients, okay? So I'm gonna give everyone 1 more minute to get in here, and then I'm gonna jump right into it. If you have your questions, make sure you go ahead and throw those in the chat so I can get to those. I do apologize. I thought I would be home by now, but I'm still in the office, and so I don't have the actual binder that I want to show you all, but it's okay. We can still work around that today. Um, all right. Let me give 1 more minute. And please excuse me, I will be reading from I have my notes back today, y'all. So I know last time I had my notebook, so today I have my actual little note sheet. So please bear with me. I will be going back and forth from that sheet. What time do we have? All right, 7:02. We'll go ahead and get started. If you all have some friends or family that you all know should be in here, go ahead and shoot them a text. Let them know we are getting started. If you all are not familiar, if this is your first time joining in, thank you. I truly appreciate you. My name is Taya. I am that NEMT girl, and I go live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Typically, it would be an hour, but today we are streaming it back to 30 minutes because if you all missed the memo, these lives will be soon. They'll be streamed just for the mentorship group. If you all are not familiar, I do have that option available on my website. It is $39 a month at the moment. That price will be increasing. So if you are interested, please make sure you lock that in because that is the introductory price, and that price will be going up as we talk about it. So also, please leave your emails in the comments. If you all have not joined the website as of yet, I can go ahead and manually add that to the site, and therefore you'll be able to get all the email blasts and updates as they come in. So if you are not on the site just yet, just drop your emails and I can manually add them. If this is your first time joining in, you all know I go from screen to screen, so I do apologize if I'm going to be bouncing around, but just bear with me because I'm talking to Facebook and we're talking to Instagram, okay? Unfortunately, I don't have a dual system where I could do both, so we're on a phone and a laptop right now, okay? All right. Also, too, please let me know what topics that you all want me to cover next. I pretty much have the whole format for the month of May. But if there is something that, you all drop in the comments that I say, oh, okay, well, I didn't think about that topic, then I'll go ahead and add it either. I do need one more topic for this month, and then we'll be going over into June. So if your topic doesn't get picked for this month, then it'll be, maybe in June you'll see that. Also, if you all are looking on how you can connect with me directly, I know some of you were introduced to the 15-minute phone call option. Unfortunately, I had to take that down because I was getting slammed with calls, and I still run my business full-time during the day as well as do consulting for that NEMT girl. So I did have to stream back on the free 15-minute calls, but you all still can book a call on the site, or if you get the membership, it is included in your membership. You get one free monthly call in that membership, okay? All right. So, next thing we are going to jump right into our topic tonight. Topic tonight is how to go about private pay marketing. So, my questions to you all, and you all could, drop some comments and talk to me through the chat. But have you all begun the process of private pay marketing? And if so, what methods have you all tried with your private pay marketing? How have you all been going out to to market for your private pay? Because this is going to kind of help me to understand where you all are with that process. If you all haven't started marketing for private pay at all, that's totally fine too. But if you have started marketing for private pay, please let me know which methods that you all have tried. Also, if you have, gone out there and tried some methods, have you received callbacks? Have those methods worked for you? I would like to know. Because it's very important to be strategic in how you go about marketing. because you want to work smart and not hard. I'll give you all my personal account when I first started and to go out for private pay contracts. I didn't know what I was doing. I just went out there with my flyers, and I'm getting into these senior buildings. Some of them I didn't even have permission to be inside of. So literally, I'm getting ran out the building by property manager or a maintenance tech that just knew, like, okay, who is this girl going around posting flyers door to door? Typically, in a building like that, a maintenance person or the property manager is the person that goes to put any type of notices on the door, right? So just to see a random person just knocking on the door, or I mean, not knocking on the door, just posting flyers on the door, it's like, okay, well, who is this person? So for me, that wasn't effective. Um, I it, this thing right here, paper, it costs, okay? 500 pack of paper from Staples costs a lot of money, okay? You add a few more cases of that, you need some reams of it, then we're talking about a whole box. And you need a few boxes, okay? Those things add up. The ink, that adds up. The time, that adds up. You going door to door, that adds up, okay? So if you're not retaining those clients, by actually making contact with them, then you're not, it's not efficient. You can go door to door and put your flyer on the door, but does that mean they're going to read the flyer? Does that mean that they think this is a trustworthy company? Because I want you all to think about something like this as well. In these senior buildings, and I'm just speaking specifically for senior buildings, it could be a rehab center, it could be independent living, it could be assisted living, whatever. But with senior citizens, the buildings that they live at, they know they don't live there with their family. So they rely on the office people, the leasing office manager, the property manager, assistant property manager, whoever, to rely to them, or I'm sorry, to relate to them trustworthy resources. If a resource is coming to a resident that lives in a senior facility and it has not been introduced to them through their office people, then 9 times out of 10, they're not going to trust it because they don't know where it came from. So you want to make contact with somebody, and I'm going to get to that in a second, okay? All right. So first things first, I want to talk about a marketing binder, and this is when I first started. I said, I thought I would be home by now so that I could show you all the marketing binder, but I'm still in the office, and I do apologize. But I'm going to talk about some of the things that you should have in a binder. So we're going to just imagine that this is our handy dandy binder right here, okay? So in a marketing binder, the purpose of it is to showcase all that your company can offer in one place. If I want to see your insurance document, if I want to see pictures of your vehicle, if I want to see your business registration, your business license, all of that stuff needs to be in one spot. I shouldn't have to, I shouldn't have to sit there and wait for you as a higher up, somebody who is in charge of the facility. My day is busy. Your day is busy, but my day is busy as well. And you're trying to get me to buy something from you, right? So hurry up. I need it to be quick. Where can I get all of your information at one time? A marketing binder, right? So some of the things that I put in here, and you all can, I may have left some things out, but these are the things that I know for sure that you all need in here. Is your business registration, articles of incorporation. You need your business license, certificate of insurance. You need, what else I put around here? Your rate sheet. What are you charging these people? And if you don't have a rate sheet specifically for the property or the facility that you're interested in, make one. Make one before you have that sit down, right? Because these are people that are going to be taking multiple trips from you throughout the week. So you want to tailor the rates where it's something they will be, interested in. I'm not telling you to, reduce your price, but I am telling you to consider this. If you have 100 people at one place that you can get throughout the week, you may want to take $5 off, $10 off, give them a package rate for a flat fee for the month. Whatever you want to do in terms of how you want to tailor it for your business, do that. But make sure you have that rate sheet in that binder when you go sit down to talk to somebody at that meeting, okay? And then I'm going to talk about how to get a meeting in a second, but I just wanted to start off with the marketing binder because this is the one thing that you're going to need for each section that I continue to talk about. Okay, so you want to have your rate sheet, and you want to have pictures of your vehicle, or vehicles. And you also want to have a company background. What is it about your company? How did your company start? What's the company history? Should I buy into this company? What makes your company stand out from the other companies that I have in my network or who have reached out to me to work in my facility, right? So you want to make sure you have that. You also want to have what makes your staff qualified. How do you vet your staff? How do you know that your drivers are good to go? Because that's going to be important for whoever is, you're trying to do business with to know that, okay, these drivers are qualified, they've been vetted, things of that sort. You also want to have your staff background. So I know for us, we have like a little description. We have a picture of our driver. We have a little description of our driver just to give them, a welcome to the team and let them know who our team on our staff is. So all of that information is contained in your marketing binder. It's your one-stop shop. It's your elevator pitch to sell your business into one place. And I don't want you to, sometimes when you get in front of someone, you may get a little frozen up or forget what to say, right? But if you have that binder there, you don't really even have to say too much. You can, introduce yourself, tell them what kind of business that you have, and let them know what you are offering, and then slide them the binder, and that gives them something to look at while you're still talking to sell yourself. They're hearing you. They may not really be listening to you, but they, as being someone in charge, they know that, oh, okay, well, they have certificate of insurance. Okay. They have articles of incorporation. Okay, this is a real business. Okay, let me see what else. All right, they got a business license. They got company history. They got staff. Oh, okay, that's their staff right there. Okay, those are the kind of vehicles they have. Okay, all right, let me see. Let me see what you got. Those are the types of conversations that you want to have, and that's what you want it to lead to, because at the end of the day, if you have to continue to pull out a sheet from your folder and your binder and you walking around with all these papers on you trying to sell yourself, as someone who doesn't have that much time, you've already kind of pushed yourself out the door because they are looking to see how you can, service their residents. You want to make sure that their time and your time is both, taken into consideration. So that's that with the marketing binder. So I'm the word for the night is pick, P-I-C, and that is person in charge, okay? So when it comes to the person in charge, this is who you want to talk to at the facility. So some of the stuff I already said, but I'm going through my notes right now. Don't. So the do's and don'ts of contacting the facility director or person in charge. Please do not just go posting flyers. As I said, you can easily get turned away or ran out of the facility because they don't know who you are. It's called soliciting, and a lot of places there are no soliciting allowed on the property. So don't get yourself hemmed up like that. You don't have many opportunities to give your business a good reputation. So you do not want to ruin that by breaking the rules just by putting out flyers. Um, uh, so with this, you need to speak with the person in charge. This is typically an executive director, a property manager, case manager, discharge nurse. It just depends on the facility type that you are at that time. Once you have that person in charge on the line, then you can get more details on the facility setup. So you want to know, does the facility cover the compensation or the bill for the client's transport, or is the client responsible? Because at that point, if the facility is responsible, then you need to set up a meeting with the people in charge, the direct, like I said, executive director, site manager, whoever. If the clients are in charge, then you want to try to set up a presentation, not a meeting, a presentation. I'm going to talk about presentations in a second, but right now we're talking about meetings, okay? Also, too, you want to know what is the population for clients at the facility, whether Medicaid, Medicare, are they able to afford their transport out of pocket? It just depends. Is it more of an elite type of facility where, these clients pretty much take care of all of their things out of pocket? It just depends, what population or demographic of clients does this facility serve, right? Also, you want to know, do they even need a transportation provider at this time? Some places, they don't need you. Some places they do. It just depends. Some of them already have a provider, and some of them may be looking for a new provider. So you want to also start off with that. Um, and lastly, you want to know, does the facility provide transportation for the clients? Some facilities, they provide wheelchair and stretcher transport for their clients. A lot of them do not. So you want to know those 4 questions. Does the facility pay for their transport, or does the client pay for it? What is the population of or demographic of clients that they serve? Is it Medicaid, Medicare, private pay? Also, are they seeking a transportation provider at this time? And does the facility provide transportation for the clients? Okay. There are more questions to ask, but these are the questions that you need. These are the main questions that you need to be asking. You will not receive the answers to these questions simply by sending an email or putting a flyer on the door. Your marketing needs to be aggressive. I know I didn't go through all the questions yet, but I did see someone mention something about sending an email. Not really effective. You can send an email, but how many emails do you, as a regular person, get a day? So we're talking about a PIC, person in charge. They're going to get a lot of emails a day. And someone trying to sell them something via email, they're going to scroll right past that. They may not, if they're really looking for transportation services at that time, but you want to be in their face. You want to get them on the phone. Okay, you may contact the person the person in charge. Okay, good. You can send an email to follow up, but then you want to go visit in person. You want to say, "Hey, how you doing, Miss Jones? This is following up with you. I sent you over an email. You can add a little butter up to it. I don't know what your budget includes, but if you want to, send over some, like a gift card, or send over some lunch for the office that day, so you're literally selling yourself, okay? That's not going to cost you too much, but based on what you're going to be making if you get a contract with that location, okay? So a little gift card goes a very long way, so think about that. Okay, so setting up an in-person meeting or presentation. So setting up an in-person presentation requires you to cold call. A cold call is an unsolicited call to market or sell your business to. So again, you're calling, you're introducing yourself, you're asking to speak with the executive director or the site manager. Just depends on the pick of that location. It's going to depend on what kind of location it is. If it's a hospital, if it's a rehab facility, whatever, it's going to depend on what kind of facility that is. So you want to cold call and try to get to the person in charge. Like I said, you want to ask those 4 questions once you get the person in charge on the line, because that's going to give you better insight on what kind of property that is and what they have going on there for their residents or their patients. Now, the front desk agent or the admin will be different in each scenario based on facility type. So you may get someone who answers the line, and it's the front desk admin, and you're trying to get to the PIC, the person in charge, but they're not really budging to send you over to that person, or they may not have a lot of information. But you definitely want to introduce yourself to that front office person and let them know the purpose of your call. And try to ask them those questions of the property for the property. And if they push back and they can't get you over to the person in charge, then you want to ask, can you get the contact information, direct email for that person? If they don't give that, then ask, when is a good time to give a call back for the PIC. 9 times out of 10, if you ask the email, they say they can't give it to you, but then you ask a better time, then they'll give you a better time to call back. But if the PIC is available to speak with, then you want to reintroduce yourself to the PIC. Even though you've already introduced yourself to the front desk or admin person, you want to reintroduce yourself to the PIC and state the purpose of your call again. Inform the PIC of the service levels that you offer transport-wise, and then inform them of your why for contacting the property. Let them know you're trying to expand, you're looking to give them, provide services at their facility or property, and you're calling to see what need they have for your services at this time. And ultimately, you're trying to secure an in-person meeting, or based on the 4 questions that you asked, a presentation for the patients or the residents there. Again, if the facility is paying for that transport, or they cover those costs, then you want to have an in-person meeting with the person in charge. If they do not, and the client or the patient is responsible themselves, then you want to set up a presentation, okay? Because at that point, you have to sell yourself to the actual resident so they can call you and book you for services. Um, Now, in terms of what time we got? All right. All right, I'm gonna try to stream this back a little bit, because let me think. Actually, you all, I think I'm gonna make this a two-part series because it's 7:21 now, and we have 9 minutes left. You all can tell me what you all would prefer in the comments, but would you all prefer that I continue to go on and you all don't get to ask your questions tonight? Or do you want me to chop this up into a two-part series and you all get to ask your questions tonight? The next portion of this goes into how to prepare for a presentation and how to follow up for the presentation or the meeting. So that can be done in a second portion, but I would like to know if you all, go ahead and want to ask your questions so we can get the Q&A out the way. Okay, chop it up. All right, we got some chop it ups and we got some two parts. I think I am going to chop it up. So I'm going to save the preparing and following up for the presentation or meeting for next week. So go ahead and drop your questions in the comments, please, so I can go ahead and get to those before our time is up this evening. Okay. I know we had some questions here on Instagram, so let me go ahead and get to those. Let me see. I'm sorry. My work phone is an Android, and it is giving me a problem. I'm sorry. No shades of the Android users, but I'm an iPhone girl all day, and I don't know. Okay, so priority. You said you called and got emails and knocked on the doors. Did you get any responses from those methods? Did you get some feedback? Did you secure anything, or did you feel like they kind of fell on deaf ears? Be honest. I just want to know. Okay, let me see what questions. Yes, Jada, you definitely want to call and set up the appointments. That's for sure. Okay. So the question I have over here on Instagram is, what is the monthly revenue for one vehicle? That question is very, very broad because where are you located? Are you doing wheelchair? Are you doing stretcher? Are you doing ambulatory? Are you doing just ambulatory? That question really cannot be answered just as like that. A lot of factors come into that. Okay, so priority, you definitely want to circle back and, whatever emails that you have for the people or the contacts that you have, make sure that you follow back up with them. If they're not too far for you to do an in-person pop up, make sure you're dressed nice. If you have your company t-shirt on, have that. Take some business cards and brochures with you, and make sure you remember the person's name that you spoke with at the time of, on the phone or whatever. I'm going to try to show you all. Let me see. Can I share my screen over here on Facebook? No. Sorry. Okay. All right. Well, I can't show you all that, but there's a spreadsheet. I'm going to try to, maybe I can screenshot it some type of way and post it into the group. But there's a spreadsheet that I have, and I want you all to think about this in terms of how are you going to keep up with this? But you want to make a spreadsheet to know, what your track record is of contacting these places and these facilities, because how are you keeping up with the people you are contacting? How are you keeping up with your outreach facilities? So you want to make sure you have some type of tracking system. And what I use is just a spreadsheet. And I will really quickly I'm trying to pull it up, let you know the tabs that I have on the spreadsheet. My Instagram people, I can turn my camera around and you all can see that. But my Facebook people, you all will not be able to see that. Give me 1 second. All right. So Facebook people on the tabs, I have Instagram. I'm going to turn it around for you all here. All right. So it has the name of the facility. It has whatever county it's in. It has the facility address, the facility phone number. It has the facility details, such as, do they provide transportation for the clients? Do they pay for it? What's the population? What's their need? Those 4 questions are under property details. It has the contact person. It has their current need for transport. And if a meeting or presentation date was set, it is listed in that column there as well. So you want to have some type of tracking system so that you are following up with these connects or contacts that you have. You know when's the last time you reached out to them. You know what was said in the last conversation, and that way you can remain consistent on your marketing, and that's how you become more aggressive with it. But you definitely want to make sure you are keeping track of that. All right. My business plan. Okay. Again, Sharon, I can't give you those numbers without, that's a very broad topic. An ambulatory vehicle, someone asked me last week, I think they could take 10 trips in a day. Okay, so let me give you an idea. You could take 10 trips in a day, right? But if all 10 of those trips are $35 trips because they're all ambulatory and going no less than 5 miles, then you made $350 for the day. You could have 2 wheelchair clients and you can make $500 off of just 2 clients. So I really cannot tell you how much money you can make off one vehicle in a month because it's variables. It varies. If you're doing that for your business plan, then you need to start with your rates and you will be going from there. It's not about what somebody else's business makes off of one vehicle. You want to put whatever your rates are and however many vehicles you have and break it down from there. But that's how you get that for your business plan. Okay, I am going to try to screenshot. I am going to try to screenshot the spreadsheet for the Facebook group, okay? So the 4 questions I said you want to, because they all asked me for this, you want to know, does the facility pay for the client's transport or is the client responsible? You want to know what the population or demographic is at that facility, whether it's more Medicaid and Medicare clients, are there more private pay clients, or private insurance. You want to know if the facility is seeking transportation at the time. If they are, that's great. Also, and if they're not, you want to know why they're not. They may have a provider already, and if they do have a provider, I hate to say this, but this is business. You want to know who that provider is and try to undercut their rates so that way you can sell yourself for that facility, okay? Also, does the facility provide transportation for the clients? Because if they do, then they don't need you at all. They have a lot of the more elite places, they do transport and provide wheelchair and stretcher transport. Can you use a stretcher with a hydraulic lift? You talking about for a rear hydraulic lift on a van? Yes. Okay. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up because we got 1 more minute left. So definitely next week we are going to do a part 2 to this. I know some of you all had may have some things that you all want to let marinate from tonight. If you all think of some questions that you all didn't think of tonight, definitely jot those down and make sure you put them Save them for next week. The part 2 for next week is going to be how to prepare for the presentation or the meeting. I'm going to go over some of the things that we went over tonight, but it's going to be like a really short recap. And so then next week, I'm going to talk about how to actually prepare for the presentation or the meeting, okay? So make sure you all come back and circle back for that. Also, just to, FYI, if you all missed it in the beginning, these lives will be streamed very soon just for the mentorship group. So if you are not in the mentorship group, I do apologize, but you all won't have access to these. You can check the information out on my website. It's www.thatnemtgirl.com. Also, if you do not drop your emails in the chat, please make sure that you do so I could manually add you to the site so that when you get the email blast and new updates, you all will be able to get them. The Instagram is that NEMT girl, same as Facebook. Yes, the live replays are always posted back on my page. So when we end tonight, you will be able to, in about maybe 5 minutes after it's ending, once it generates, you all will be able to listen to the playback, okay? All right. So I thank you all for joining me this evening, and I look forward to next week, okay? Bye, you all.